So today on our channel, we're going to be making Olivia the octopus. Okay, all right, everyone see that? Look at Olivia. Look how cool and cute she is, all right? So for those of you that are familiar with the way this works or aren't familiar with the way this works, I'm going to recap. All you need is a basic pencil. We're going to be drawing the piece first, okay? And then that's first part of the video. Second part of the video, we go ahead and paint her. Now I'm going to be using acrylic paint here at my house, here at my home, my studio. You guys can use any paint that you've got at home, pretty much. Tempera, finger paints. Don't know the watercolors may work as well. Maybe if you don't dilute the paint as much with or use very little water, it might work. But even markers and colored pencils, crayons even would work, okay? So I'm going to change into clothes that I don't mind getting dirty, full of paint if that's what ends up happening, and I will be right back, okay? Okay, everyone, I'm back, and I'm wearing my Superman shirt, okay? Very cool, right? Very cool, but I don't want to get it dirty, so, well, I want to avoid getting it dirty if I can. I don't mind too much if I get it dirty, but I don't want to, and so I'm going to wear an apron. I recommend everybody at home wear one as well, so that you don't get painting on your clothing, especially if you really like it. Okay? So, all right, folks, we're going to get to drawing in just a second. Remember, first part of the video is the drawing part. Second part is the painting part. Hope everyone is ready to have some fun. Here we go. So here we go. As always, what I like to explain is you look at what you're going to be drawing, whatever it may be. Maybe this is the first time you're seeing Olivia. Maybe you're going to be drawing something else later on, some other day, and you see a cartoon character, you see something that you like, and you want to draw it. First thing that I like to do is when I'm looking at something that I want to draw is I look at the overall shapes. By looking at the overall shapes, it helps me look at where I'm going to start. It's less overwhelming. If I start trying to look at everything all at once, like the eyes and the nose, etc., 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 it can be a little bit overwhelming, and it might seem like it's too much to do. But let's break it down instead. What do we have? We have Olivia with a big head, right? And it's almost a perfect circle. If I was to do this, that would be her head, okay? Then the tentacles are just curves. They're just curves. Or parts of circles if you want to look at them that way. For example, if I was to do this, I would make a circle. Same thing with this one. If I went like this, I would do a circle. These are almost all parts circles, okay? The eyes are almost complete circles, right? They're a circle, and then you stop part way, and you have a line at the bottom. Look at the mouth. The mouth you can look at without looking at these parts here. The mouth itself is almost a rectangle, almost, right? It's got different sides to it. The sides aren't straight like on a rectangle, but you get what I'm trying to say. The nose is part of a circle. The little cheeks here, the little rosy cheeks, they're little ovals almost. What's this? Starfish. It's just a star, right? So you look at things like that, and it's easier to approach the drawing process, to start the drawing process. What are these but circles, right? And then these lines here, well, we'll get to those later, but that's how you want to look at something that you want to draw first. So I'm working again with an 8 by 10 inch canvas, whatever you're working on. We're going to start. What I would like to do first in this case is block off or draw a line approximately, really, really light line, approximately down the middle of your canvas. Approximately, okay? Or down the middle of your paper or whatever it is that you're drawing on, okay? Just to give you a place to start, a place of reference. So I know you probably can't see my line or it's very light, but don't worry about it. Just find the approximate middle of your paper, canvas, etc., and draw a little light line across. Doesn't have to go all the way across, just partly across. You don't need a ruler. This is just a rough idea of where the center is. Okay, from there, remember I said that the head is a circle. Okay, the head's a circle. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to draw the bottom of that circle just a little bit under my line. Under the middle of my canvas is where that head starts. Okay, so from there, and again, I'm going really lightly at first. I'm holding my pencil loosely. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. I'm not trying to make a perfect drawing at the moment. I'm just doing really light, loose lines that are going to represent Olivia's head. Okay, so there we go. There's my circle, and it's right in here. Okay. So I'll look at it. Once you've got your circle, look at it. Make sure that it's about centered on your canvas. What I mean by centered is you don't want it too far over, either way, left or right. Yes, if you're looking for that, if you do want to center it, move it over to left or right, that's up to you. But if you're trying to keep it down the middle, that's what you want to look at first. Look at the overall placement of where you have your circle, okay? All right. So I've done the circle. I'm going to go ahead and mark off part of it with my marker so you can see where this is. Now, this is a little bit, I've got to make sure that I'm happy with my circle, because once I've got the marker in place, I can't go in and erase or change it, right? That's why it's nice to do it only in pencil. Again, but because I want you guys at home to be able to see what I've got on my canvas, I'm going to go ahead and do the outline in the circle. You don't need to do this at home. All right. So I'm only going to do this part of Olivia's head in marker. Okay. So I'm going to start about right here. Go over. About right there. Okay. Because again, on Olivia, this part of it doesn't have any lines, right? It just stops right here. But I told you it's a circle basically that we're looking at. So, okay, perfect. Let's move on to the tentacles. I'm going to start on this tentacle here, and I'm going to start with this edge of my tentacle. So, right about here, what do I envision? It's kind of a circle, right? It's a loop almost. Well, here I go, nice and light, and I'll go as high as I want my tentacle to go. So about right there. In a moment, I'll darken this up. Okay, now I'm going to do, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to do this part here, like this, right in here. So I'll go like this, come over, and I won't go all the way back up. Okay, I'm going to stop about right there. The reason why I don't go all the way up is because this tentacle here, next to this tentacle, this line is what's going to come into here and connect to Olivia's body. That being said, let's go ahead and do this one. Folks, kids at home, remember that anytime, if you didn't understand something, simply back up the video and watch that part again. Okay, that's the beauty of being able to do this on video. You can pause at any time, you can back up or forward at any time. Okay, so now I'm doing this tentacle right here. I'm starting with this leg right here, this part, this line right here. So again, this is the part that connects to Olivia's body. I'll probably start about right here. I'll come like this, over, then back. Okay, and I'll stop right there. Okay. Let me go ahead and color both of those tentacles in, okay, really quickly so you can all see, for those of you that are maybe having a hard time seeing my lines. Okay, just like that. Back over. Okay, there's one, and then this one here, like I said with this one, that one here, this line here belongs to the second tentacle. Now you notice I didn't go all the way up to where my light pencil line is, right? I'm not going to connect those. They don't need to connect. All right? Okay, moving on to the next tentacle. Let me find my pencil. So that would be this one right here, and this line belongs to that tentacle. So right about right here, I come over like this, come over, then back up. Okay, there we go. Perfect. I'll color it in a second. Let's do the next tentacle. About right here, there's a little bit of a space in between both tentacles. That's this little space right here, maybe a little bigger than those. Doesn't really matter too much. If yours doesn't have that space, that's all right. Okay, there we go. And again, folks, I want to emphasize, I've said this in my other videos, everybody's painting, everybody's drawing is going to look different. Okay? My drawings look different than yours. Yours look different from friends and from your parents, etc. If we're all drawing the same thing, oftentimes they're going to look very different. It's your drawing, right? So you're drawing Olivia right now. This is your Olivia. You're going to make Olivia look like whatever you'd like. My point is that your Olivia doesn't have to look just like mine. So here we go. We're going to color in these lines. Over. Number 3 tentacle. Number 4 tentacle coming up. Okay, there we go. Let's fix that right there. Okay, and then I'm not going to do this tentacle right here just yet. I'm going to do this one first. I'll explain why in just a second, but I'm going to do this one first, okay? I'm going to start at the top here. I'm going to come over, bring it up like that, and then back down, and then connect those lines. So this tentacle here is a little bit further back. Maybe it's a tentacle further on the back side of Olivia. So it connects to the back part of her body. And so when you see it from the front, it doesn't look like it's connecting to the tentacles in the front. That's why I put that in the back. So let me color these in. Sorry, that's why these lines connect between these 2 tentacles, and this tentacle that's in the back does not have any connecting lines with the 2 in the front. That, right? That's what I mean. And then the one in the back goes like this. There we go. Okay. Beautiful. So my Olivia has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tentacles. If yours has more, don't worry. I mean, I could, if I wanted to, I could come in and add another tentacle right here. I think octopi have 8 tentacles. I think octopi is how you say it. I believe. Teachers, parents, look it up, or maybe you know. Anyhow, yeah. If you wanted to, you could add another tentacle here. If yours has more tentacles than mine, don't worry about it. No big deal. Okay, so let's look at what else we've got. Well, we got these eyes. Let's go with the eyes. So here's how we will do this. We got our circle. Okay, find the middle of your head, which is about right here. About the middle of my head, is about right here, right in here. Again, about, right? So between her nose and the eyes. So all I'm going to do is go up a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean maybe the width, almost the width of my pinky, okay? How's that? Make it easier for you guys. And then right there, I'm just going to draw a little line across, really light. These lines right here, I'm not going to mark in. I'm only drawing them in as a reference point. It gives me a base, okay? What I'm going to do with this line, that's where my eyes are going to sit. This line that I just lightly drew across there would be an imaginary line across the eyes right here, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. So across my imaginary line, I'm going to come over and I'm going to do the 2 eyes. So here we go. There's one eyeball, and again in a second I'm going to darken this up. I'm doing this really lightly at first. If I need to make corrections, I can come back and correct, right? If I do them too dark, it's a lot harder for me to make corrections. Like one thing I can already see that my eyes are a little smaller than on the original, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that right now. Now, if you want small eyes on yours or larger eyes on yours, you go right ahead and do that, okay? So there we go. There we go. There's my other eye. And I can already see that I've got a little more separation in between the 2 eyes here. Here's my pencil. Here's my pencil with my eraser. I'm coming in, cleaning it just a little bit. I'm going to make this eye just a little larger. Okay. Now, separation between my 2 eyes is a little bit more than on the original. I'm good with that. I'm actually kind of glad I like it like this. No big deal. They could be closer. They could be further apart. No big deal. As long as you're happy with it, that's what matters. Okay. So now I'm going to draw the bottom of each eye. Along that same line that I created, I'm going to do this. Just little curved lines underneath, which would be this. Okay? Okay? All right. Now, let me mark in what I've got for those of you that are having a hard time seeing. So the first thing that I did was I did the outside of the upper part of the eyes, right? Upper outline, like that, on each eye. Did this. Okay, so that's what I have. Then I did the little curve bottom lid here. Okay, so there we go. Now, what's next? I'm going to do the irises, the parts, the inside of the eyes. So, little half circles, just like what the eyelids are. Okay, again, these are kind of half circles, right? Maybe not quite half, a little more than half, but they're circles. Partial circles almost. Same thing with this one. There we go. Just like that. All right? And they've also got these little shiny parts on the inside. Little light parts on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in. All right? Now let me go ahead and mark those off with my marker. Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me see. Yeah. Use this side. Just like this. Okay. There we go. I'm not going to worry about, I'm not going to worry about the inside white part. I'm not going to worry about this part here on this. As long as I can see it, I'm fine. Oh, and then the eyelashes. Let's do those eyelashes. So each little eye has 1, 2, 3 eyelashes. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. So let me mark those in. Again, don't forget you can always rewind, pause, anything that you missed, go back and review it, okay? Now, a couple of things as I'm doing this with my marker, you know, I'm just want to make sure that everybody understands that the only reason I'm outlining it in marker is so that you at home can actually see what I've drawn, okay? Just want to emphasize that. So what's next? Our little nose. So here's that line, the middle of our circle. Remember at the beginning before we did the eyes, I put a little spot here where the middle of the face is, which is about right here. So right below that, just a little tiny bit below that is her little button nose. And again, all this is a little, whoop, let me erase a little bit again. That's what we're working with. Really light pencil lines is so that we can go in there and erase. All this is a little part circle. Okay, there we go. And what do I want to do? Actually, I'm going to raise that up just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. Drawing is about making corrections. Some people really don't like to have to erase, but that is part of it. Sometimes, you know, you'll look at something and you're like, maybe I want it over to the right, maybe I want it over to the left, higher, lower, bigger, etc. And so you correct it. There's nothing wrong with making corrections. All right. So I've got my little nose, and here we go. There you go. How's that? Okay. So Olivia is coming along very nicely. What's next? Let's do the mouth. So here's our nose, right? Here's the bottom of our nose. So if I was to take my thumb and go like this, that's about where the bottom of my mouth would start. So right across here. Okay, we're going to go like this. What I'm drawing is this part right now. And all I'm going to draw is the inside. This where the white part is. All I'm drawing is the inside. And watch what I do. I'll outline this first in just a second. Okay. This is a geometric shape. It almost looks like a rectangle. Not quite. It's got a line at the top, line at the bottom, and then two lines on the sides. Let me go ahead and mark those in. Okay, here we go. Across one line, underneath another line, and then I got the 2 lines on the sides. 1 line there, and 1 line here. Okay, my lips. Let's look at those lips. Okay, I'm drawing this little line here. Okay, that's this line there. So this is almost like a V. The center of the lips here, this part here, is like a V. Okay, you've got a V right here. Remember, we're breaking things down into smaller shapes. Smaller shapes that'll help us understand what's going on. So I've got a little V right there, and I'll go ahead and my marker is having a little bit of a problem here. I'm gonna have to switch markers. Okay, so we have a V. Okay, then this line is gonna go across to the edge of our lip on both sides. So here's what I did. Okay, let me see here. Okay, 1. All right, and then 2. There we go. All right, this one doesn't have to come out like this like it did on mine. No big deal. So you want these to meet the corners. So now let's go to the bottom of the bottom lip. We're going to draw a line across like this. Below this line, we're going to draw a line across, and then that line is going to go up. It'll be easier when to see what I'm doing when I draw it in a sec, when I color it in a second. Line goes up and like this. So let me go ahead and do that with my marker. Let me see if I can fix my marker a bit, so see if I can make it skinnier, the tip. Okay, so here's what I did. This bottom line here, I come across and I go like that, okay? Then this connects to this point up here. So this connects to that, and this connects to that. So this connects to that, and this connects to that. So that's what I'm doing now. If you guys can't see what I'm doing, because I'm blocking it a little bit, I do apologize, but you'll be able to see when I come over to the other side. So all I did was draw a line from here to there, marking the line. I'll do the same thing over here, from here to there, okay? And that's all I'm going to do with that for now, for my lips, for Olivia's lips rather. What's next? The rosy cheeks. So right about in between where the bottom of the nose and the top of the lips are, I come across and I do a little oval for the right cheek, little oval for the left cheek. Just like that. And I'll do that to both sides with my marker so you, again, at home can see what's up, what is going on. How's that? Fantastic, if you ask me. Olivia is looking quite happy. Okay, little starfish right there. Let's draw the starfish in. So you can approach this. These are just long triangles. Triangle, 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 triangle. Watch how I do it. Triangle, triangle, triangle. I'll do it again with the marker in a sec. Triangle and triangle. Okay? Now, each triangle doesn't have to be the exact same length. No big deal if they aren't. So, triangle, 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 and triangle. All right? Later on, when I come in and add, if I'm going to use blue, which more than likely I am, I'll come in and cover all that up, and you won't be able to see it. Next thing we have is all these guys, all these little suction cups here, whatever you want to call those, right? I'm not going to draw those in. I'm not going to draw those in. We'll just do that with the paint later. We have these bubbles that are floating around, but those will be easy to do with the paint, so we're not going to worry about that. So for now, that's all we need to do. Actually, that's all we need to do with our pencil. Okay, we're not forgetting anything. We got the eyes, we got the nose, we got the little rosy cheeks, we have the lips, we have the starfish, we have our tentacles, and we have our head. Okay, so there you go, folks. As far as our drawing component of this, that's all you need. I'm going to set up here for my paint, and I'll be back in just a second. Okay, everyone, I am back, and I am ready to paint. Let's talk about what we need here. Paper towels. You never want to be without paper towels. If you have an accident, if you need to clean something up on your canvas or whatever it is that you're using to paint on, these come in very handy, so please always have some of these guys. Always a good idea. Next thing I've got is a cup, water cup, where I have my brushes in. Okay, and these brushes are going to be sitting in this water until I need them. So I have my brushes look a little bit used up because they've been used. They've been used a lot. But I've got a 1-inch flat bristle brush, and synthetic bristle brush. Okay. I've got a larger, about a 1.5-inch larger flat brush, just a little bit larger than the other one that I was using, that I just showed you. And then I've got about a 1/4-inch. These are all flat synthetic bristle brushes. About a 1/4-inch brush. And then I've got a small, skinny, what you call a liner brush. This little brush here will allow me to work on making little details, like maybe the eyelashes and the nose, things like that, okay? So whatever you've got at home, as long as they're brushes that are kind of similar in size to these, it's okay. The sizes aren't super, super important. You just want something that's going to allow you to apply paint across your canvas and in the areas that you want to work on. Okay, paint colors. Here's what I've got. Here are my colors. I've got blue. Blue is going to be used for areas like the starfish. I've got black for the eyes and the eyelashes. I've got a little bit of purple, which I might mix. I'm probably going to mix with some pink and some white to make her body, the color on her body. I've got the white for that reason to be able to, mix with. I don't know if I was in camera when I said I have purple and pink, so they are purple and pink. I've got a little bit of green and a little bit of this lighter neon green and the yellow that I'm going to mix up to make the background color, okay? But you guys all just, whatever colors you've got at home, please make sure that you're happy with whatever colors you're going to use. You're going to make Olivia look like whatever you want her to look like, okay? So I'm going to just make a quick adjustment to the easel and stuff, and I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, everyone, so here's what I'm going to do first. Oh, I've got a second plate. One thing I forgot to mention, I do have a second plate. The second plate, the first place, of course, is where I put my paints on. My second plate is where I'm going to be mixing my colors, okay? The first thing that I'm going to work on is this light green, yellowish background that I've got behind Olivia. The way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to do the background first, and I am going to cover all of my lines here. Everything is just going to cover it up in this light yellow. For those of you that did everything in pencil, like you were following me along, all I want you to do is when you mix your colors, make sure that it's a light color. Because if you do a dark color and you cover everything, you're going to cover up your lines and it's going to be difficult to see. So here I go. I am taking my largest brush. It's sitting here in my water cup. So I picked that up out of the water cup. I'll put this over here so you can see it a little bit better. So I'll do this. Right, it's sitting in water. So I'll do this. I'll drip that excess water, as much of it as I can onto my plate. Okay. Next, I'm going to take my brush and whatever water is left in it, I'm going to grab my paper towels and squeeze this out. Squeeze that extra out. I don't want my brush running as I'm applying paint onto my canvas. So I'm going to take some yellow. Okay, a little bit of yellow. I'll put it right where I had the water, where I put the water down. I'm going to take some of that light green. Okay, do that. And maybe a little touch of the dark green like this. So I've got a little dark green. And then a touch of white. I'm using the same brush. I'm using the same brush to go through and pick up each of these from my paint plate. Okay, so I grab some yellow, I grab some light green, some dark green, and some white. Grab them all with the same brush and individually brought them over to my paint plate. Actually, I've got some white on here now. I'm going to mix those together. When I mix this, I'm looking for, again, a color that's really light. For those of you that want a darker background, I would suggest going through and darkening up your pencil marks really well. Maybe take a marker and color them in like I did. Because if you go really dark with just pencil marks, you're going to have a hard time seeing those pencil marks coming through your paint. Okay? So that's why I recommend sticking with a light color. So here we go. I'm mixing. And I'll look at my color and I'll say, okay, do I want that color like that? Or do I want to make it a little darker? Do I want it lighter? I make those decisions before I decide to put the paint onto my canvas. All right. So here I go. I do this a few times. That's a color that I want. I'm going to leave some of the mixed plate empty. I don't want to cover the entire plate up because I'm going to be mixing other colors in these areas. I'm working with acrylic paint. It is very fast drying. So that's a plus when we want to work kind of quickly. So here I go. And I'm doing my lines like this diagonally. I can do them like this if I want, and at that angle, or I can do them up and down or horizontally. But I'm doing it like this because it makes it look like the water's kind of flowing in that direction. Okay. And again, I'm covering all of my painting, all of my, and I can see that my marker is actually bleeding a little bit into the paint. Okay, I do want to be careful with that because I don't want to get that pink paint all over the canvas. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through and do the outside parts Olivia first, like this. Actually, I wouldn't mind. I guess I wouldn't mind too much if that pink bled into other parts like the water in the background, because it might look kind of cool. But for now, I'm going to try to avoid it as much as I can. But if I have some happy accidents, as Bob Ross used to say, for those of you that are familiar with Bob Ross, the artist that has a bunch of really cool art tutorial videos. You can find them, I think, on Netflix, but definitely YouTube. As he used to say, happy accidents, right? Sometimes you get an accident and they're nothing but happy accidents. So here I go. I'm just going all the way around and keeping the same angle strokes like this, right? Diagonally, so that I have that, it feels like the water's flowing in that direction. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to come in. Now I can bring that paint into Petunia. Oh, Petunia. I don't know why I keep calling it Petunia. Olivia. I'm going to have to make a Petunia painting. Petunia the what? I don't know. Not sure yet. We're going to have to find some other creature to name Petunia. I seem to be liking to use that name. Okay, so here's what I'm doing. And again, folks, those of you at home, you're seeing this pink stuff coming into the inside of Olivia. That's because the ink didn't dry fast enough, and so it's just blending in with my paint. No big deal. When I cover her up with the pink paint, that's all going to go away. Okay? And then if some of it's bleeding out into my water, I'm all right with that too. No big deal. No big deal. It's definitely not ruining the painting, and you can even see it as making it cooler, nicer. Okay? All right. For those of you that are working with canvas, with a canvas, you can do your edges. You can also paint the edges. Don't worry about doing the bottom edge. We'll do that at the very end. You don't want to do the bottom edge right now, because if you're working using an easel, as this dries, it'll stick to the bottom of the easel. If you're not working with an easel, if you're painting onto a canvas like I am, and you're not using an easel, then go ahead and do the bottom part if you're just laying it on a table, right? No big deal. Again, remember everyone, at any point, if you miss something or if you didn't quite catch it, you can go back, watch it again. If you need to take a quick break, go grab something to drink, etc., bathroom break, what have you. Oops, I think I was off camera there. Sorry about that. I'm just coming back over and doing my edges. I did the left edge, right? This edge here. Whoops, hold on. This edge, I did this. I did the top, and now I'm doing the right edge. So I mentioned we're working with acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is fast drying. For those of you that aren't familiar with this type of paint, it is very quick to dry. The warmer your environment is, the more quickly it dries. So that is one thing that can be used to your benefit, but it can also be difficult to work with if you are looking for longer drying times. But acrylic paint is nice because it's vibrant. It is easy to work with. You can mix it with water. There are other stuff that you can mix it with to create some different effects. Maybe we'll talk about some of that in some future projects. But okay, so I've got my background color in place. Okay, I just want to make sure that it's, I've got, everywhere covered. I don't have any spots that don't have any of this light green. I'm going to take this big brush. I'm going to put it back into the cup. Now I'm going to mix a color for Petunia's body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my my inch brush, 1-inch brush, this guy right here. And I'm going to grab some of this pink for my mix plate, some of this pink like this, and I'm going to bring it over like this, okay? Then I'm going to take a little bit of purple, just a little tiny bit, okay? I'm going to mix those two together. I probably mixed too much purple, so it's going to be a little too dark. No big deal. I just bring some of that over to the side and bring some more pink over. And then lastly, I'm going to take some white off of my mix plate, and I'm going to mix those two together. If you want your Olivia to be purple, then make her purple, right? You can add more of that purple. If you want her to be a different color, then you make her whatever color you'd like. So once I've got my mix, I'm going to come in here and apply this to the areas that take some of this pink. Now, what I want you to notice is that on this first layer, the paint is actually transparent. You can see some of the green in the background coming through. They're going to mix a little bit. I'm not worried about that right now. This is only my first layer. We're going to be working in layers. Okay, so this being our first layer, it does tend to be transparent. So don't stress about that part of it. Don't sit there trying to cover, because you're never going to get the color that you want. This is only the first layer, and it is going to be transparent. I am not worried about that. So I'm painting everywhere but around the eye, but inside the eyes. I'm not painting inside the starfish. Right? I can if I want, I can do her cheeks, because the cheeks are going to be pink, a really dark pink later. So I can use that. I can also do the outside of the lips. I'm actually doing the lips. I'm not doing the inside of the mouth. In other words, I'm not doing the teeth. Then I'm going to come in here and do this on the tentacles. So each tentacle gets a coat of this paint. So this is our first coat. Notice how I'm not spending a whole lot of time with this, because again, we're going to move on, and we're going to let this dry, and later on we'll come back and do another coat, another layer of this pink paint, and then it'll really start to look pink like the original painting. For those of you that, so if you're struggling using the bigger brush, simply switch it out for one of the smaller ones. The smaller ones give you a little bit more control, and these allow you to get into small areas, some of the smaller areas, like let's say like around the eyes, right? Like in here. So if you want a little bit more control, simply switch to a smaller brush. So the smaller brushes are good for getting into little areas like the points, right? Things like that. For now, that's about as good as we've got with the body. We're going to leave that. What I want to do next, as I'm working on these other areas, the background is drying. I can already see that this area right here is dry. I don't have any wet paint right there. This area over here is dry, right? It dries fairly quickly. Again, acrylic paint works like that. I'm taking this little liner brush, and I'm going to come in here. I'm taking some black right from my mix plate, from my paint plate. Doing this, and I'm going to bring that over, and I'm going to do the inside of the eyes. I'm avoiding the little circles where the white's going to go, okay? Okay, doing that. If you're having a hard time holding your hand steady, right? Let's say you're doing this and your hand's shaking and you're having a hard time staying within the lines. The hand that you're not painting with, if you're painting with an easel, you can put this hand on the table like this. Put your hand itself lays flat on the table or on the easel itself, okay? And then this hand, so this is stable. This one here is stable. I'll bring this hand, I'll put it on top of my other hand, and now it makes it easier for me to stay inside my lines. My hand isn't as shaking anymore. There's one little trick. This can also help you when you're drawing. Sometimes when you're drawing really small, tiny areas, you want to hold your hand steady and your hand's shaking and you're having a hard time with that. I'm not going to do this bottom line here or the eyelashes up on top just yet. The eyelashes over the eyes, I'm not doing that just yet, because I'm going to wait till I've got more pink paint on Olivia, okay? What I am going to do is I'm going to take my same brush, I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Now, I probably should have done this in reverse. I should have done this with the white first, the white parts first, and then the black, in case. The reason for that is, if I have some black in here, I'm going to work with the white here in a second. If I have any black left in my brush, it'll mix in with the white and make gray, right? So the order would have been better if I would have done my white first and then done the black, because the black would overpower any white that I've got in the brush. Instead, though, we clean the brush up pretty well by putting into our water cup, sloshing it around really well, and then bringing it over and just cleaning off the excess water. I'm going to take some white, simply take my brush, dip it into my paint plate. I do this, and then I'm going to come over and do the teeth. She has some really white teeth. Olivia has a really pretty white smile. Okay. Look at that. She must brush her teeth every day. Okay. And she probably flosses too, I would imagine. Okay. I'm going to do the white over of the eyeballs, right? Of the inside of the eyes. Just going around like this. Now, same as with the pink on the body, this white is kind of transparent. It might take a couple of layers of this white to really make this stand out. Okay, same with the mouth. If I want to come back later and add more white, then it's really going to make things white. But what I'm doing right now is I'm just creating that first layer, being careful to stay within the lines. Then once it's dry, I'll come back and add more layers to this. Since we're working with white and we have these bubbles that we need to make, that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to find little spots in my background, and I'm going to do this first. I just took regular white is all I took. Okay, made me a little circle. Now your painting is going to have as many bubbles as you'd like for it to have, or as few bubbles as you'd like. Maybe you don't like bubbles, maybe you don't want any bubbles. But right now, while the other parts of the painting that I've already got covered in paint are drying, I'm going to come in and do these little bubbles. How's that? All right. Over here. We'll do them there. And then maybe I'll do a couple of small ones kind of down towards the bottom. Okay, kind of like that. Okay. For now, I'm going to leave those like that. Right? I know the other ones have blue outlines, ones on the original. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to leave those like that. I'm going to take, well, I like to hit the camera from time to time, so sorry about that. I'm going to take this brush, clean it up a little bit. Next thing that I'm going to do is wipe off some of that extra white. I'm going to pick up some more of my pink. Same little brush, right? Picked up some more of that pink with my same little brush, went like this. I'm going to use this for her little rosy cheeks. Look at that. And same as with everything else, I may have to do a couple of layers of this because it is transparent. So we have to let it dry for a bit. No big deal. Okay, now I'm going to use this on the lips also. Okay, come down like this and over. Just like that. Now remember, boys and girls, I do requests. If you guys have a particular character that you like, cartoon character for example, or you're into dinosaurs, or you're into, I don't know, whales, etc. Let me know that you'd like to see a video tutorial, that you'd like to learn how to draw something like that and paint it. And we'll do one. We'll probably do one, right? It depends on what you request. So, yeah, just in the comment section below, make sure you let me know, okay? All right, so I'm going to take some blue now, a little bit of my blue. I'm going to bring this over to my mix plate. I'm going to make some light blue. So I'll take a little spot just like this. Don't need a whole lot, just a little spot. I use my same brush. I grab some white, bring it over, mix the two together. I'll do that a couple of times. And what happens? I'm making some light blue. I'm also going to dip my brush back in my water cup, bring some of that water back over, mix that with my mixture, blend that in really well, and then I'm going to cover up my starfish, the inside of the starfish. And probably I'm going to try to do this without blocking what I'm doing. It's a little trickier to paint this way, but we can do it. We can do it. All right, there we go. These little brushes make it easier to paint small areas, okay? You'll see as you guys get more familiar with the brushes that you're using, you'll know what you need to use when you're looking at what you're going to paint or draw. You'll know what you have to use because your experience will build, and you'll have a better idea. Okay, so now I'm going to take some of that same blue. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to outline my bubbles. So the outline doesn't have to go all the way complete. Okay, kind of like that. And I'll do the same thing over on the other side. Come over here. Come over here. Just like that. How about that? And we got this little one over here. Cool. Got our bubbles in place. Okay. So it looks like so we got some areas that are still a little bit wet. The background here is still a little bit wet. My starfish is still a little bit wet. So we're going to give this about 10 minutes to fully dry. Then we'll continue, okay? So I'm going to pause my video recording here in a moment, and then we'll be back. For those of you at home that are also working with paint that is, still a little bit wet, I would suggest pausing the video and then coming back, giving it about 10 minutes or so, depending on where you are, how hot it is where you are, and we'll continue in just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to put this on pause. I will be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am back. So I waited about 10 minutes. Her body's entirely dry. Starfish is almost completely dry, and I see the lips and the cheekbones are still kind of getting there. That's okay. I'm going to be working around all that stuff for the moment anyway, and we're going to continue. So, anyway, I'm going to take a moment to show off my little coffee cup I showed you guys earlier. There's Thor, there's Iron Man, there's Black Widow, there's the Hulk, and there's Captain America. What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm drinking coffee today. That is pretty dang good coffee, if I do say so myself. Okay, I didn't make it, so I'm not trying to show off or anything. So here we go, folks. I'm going to take some more pink from my plate, right? From the original paint plate. I'm going to bring it over to my mix plate. Basically, I'm going to make more of that pink that's in my painting. More of the pink that's in the body. So I'm taking the pink and the purple and some white. I'm blending those together. So watch what will happen in this case. When I apply this next layer onto Olivia, she's going to get a lot more intense. She's not going to look as transparent anymore. She's going to look a lot more pink. So I'm going to start with my big brush like this. I would recommend, actually, you know what? Since I'm going to recommend using a smaller brush. No. We'll stick to this for now. Using this one. So same process as before. I'm going to paint all the way around areas that I don't want to get some of this pink paint onto. Okay, if you guys notice, I'm using the edge of the brush like this, the skinny side of the brush, like that. Not like this. I'm not painting across like this. I'm painting like this. When I do these narrow, the tentacles, right, which get a little bit narrow. So I'm using the skinny side of the brush. Okay, and now as this next layer of paint is being applied, she's becoming more pink, right? If your painting at this step of the process is still transparent, you may have to do a third layer, and I might have to too. But again, we're not worried about that. Painting is about having patience. Patience is really important to the creative process. Some of the stuff doesn't take as long to create, right? Some things don't take as long to create as others. And when you're working with painting in particular, you've often got layers of paint that you're working with that you have to use. You have to layer your paint. So yeah, there's a process that's involved. If you're a little bit impatient and you want your painting to look spectacular right from the get-go, you're going to be a little bit disappointed, because you need to have some time for this stuff to really start to look right. Okay, so I'm taking my big brush. I'm going to switch it over for my 1/4-inch brush. Okay, this one right here. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to take some of this paint on my brush. I'm going to remove it on the big brush, and I'm going to use that paint that's on there to come in and do the smaller, harder to reach areas, right? So like this, like around her lips, around the cheekbones, like that. Up here about around the starfish. I don't mind. I'm actually good with covering the eyelashes. I'm all right with covering the eyelashes with paint, because I'm going to come in and cover those up in black anyway, and the black will overpower that paint color. So, okay, all the way around, like this, like that. And yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to do one more layer of pink, which I don't mind, okay? By the time we're done with the rest of this, we'll be ready to do another layer, and then Petunia is really going to start to stand out. So taking this brush, putting it back into the water cup, I'm going to take some of my blue again, the blue, light blue that I made earlier for the starfish. I'm going to take my really small brush, this guy right here, little liner brush. Whoop, just dropped it. Whoop. See, accidents happen, folks. What did I say? Oh. Just luckily, I have a drop sheet on the floor in case it was sort of falling on its face, paint down on the ground. I would have been okay. So we're good. But yeah, that's why you want to be prepared for accidents. Okay, so a little bit of blue, a little bit of white, right? Just a touch, and we're going to go back into the starfish, color that in. And again, what you'll notice is this makes it a lot darker. Just like that. Just like that. Look at that. Very cool. Later, we're going to add some glitter over the top of that, so I'm not too worried about it at the moment. The glitter is going to make everything really stand out. So I cleaned up my brush a little bit. I'm going to grab some white. Same brush, same little liner brush, take some white, find a little spot, and bring that over, and I'm going to do the eyes again, the outside of the eyes. Now watch what happens to the eyes. Look how much brighter they get on this pass, because the second layer of paint now really helps make those eyes stand out. Okay, you see that? Same thing over here. But this can only happen if the bottom layer is already dry, okay? Since I'm working with the white, I'm going to come into my bubbles. Just a little bit like that. And just a bit. Like that. Okay. Like that. Each one of my bubbles gets a little bit of this. Always remember, folks, that you can rewind, back up the video and rewatch areas that you missed. Here we go, adding some to the teeth. In a few years, nobody's ever going to say rewind, because rewind is an old term used for things like cassette tapes, VCR tapes. Today, though, everything's on video, on a digital format, and you could simply back it up and not rewind, back it up, right? Okay, so there we go. I just added more white. What I'm going to do right now, while this is drying a bit, I'm going to make some of these little streaks in the background. Okay. Originally, I did them with mostly glitter, but I'm going to do it with a little bit of blue, a little bit of white, and a little bit of green. Okay. Oh, you know what? Watch this right here. I've got some pink that's coming through from when I did the marker. When I brushed over the marker, some of that pink is showing up here. I'm going to have a little streak of blue there in a moment. You'll see what I'm talking about. Oftentimes, what you want to do with a painting, boys and girls, is if you make a mistake, let's say there's something on there that you don't like. I've already called them happy little accidents, right? That's what Bob Ross called them, happy little accidents. The first thing that I'll do is I'll look at it. Like, let's say right here, I've got this pink streaking in here. I'll look at it and I'll go, okay, how can I use that in my painting? Instead of going through and trying to remove it or fix it, etc., I'll say, how can I use it, right? And in this case, just like these little streaks across on the original, I'm going to go through and use a little streak in there, okay, to cover that up. Very simple, very basic. I'm taking a little bit of this light blue that I mixed for the starfish right here, a little tiny bit. I'll bring it over, mix it in with a little bit with my green, and then I'm going to take a little bit of white and mix those three together. Now this color may not look exactly, again, a little bit of blue, a little bit of my light green that's in the mix already. This may not look exactly like my original here, but it's close enough. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Using my the fat side of my brush, bring that over, just like this. Kind of like that. Okay. Covering up that paint. In a moment, I'm going to come in and actually, you know what? I want to do it like this. Same angle as I used on the original brush strokes. Okay. I layered down. So what I'll do in a little bit, I'll come in and redo the pink part on the tentacle. Okay, and I'll bring that streak. That streak goes across behind her and across like that. Okay. Little streak of water in that background. Okay, now I'm going to come over here, do that. Whoops. All right, we're going to do this, that. Okay, like that. We can do another one here. That one comes across over here. The only reason I covered up her body there, sorry folks, I'm doing this from the angle that I'm at. I'm not quite in front of her, so it's hard for me to see that the angles are all the same. But you want to make sure that your angles are the same, right? They all have the same angle. Each line does. So I'm just going through and correcting some of these to make them match. Okay, it's still in the camera view. Okay, good. Here we go. I'll do one a little longer like this. Across. So look at them and adjust them if you need to. Again, the idea is you want them all kind of going matching, and I can see that I'm not quite matching on all of them. Again, I'm over to the side a little bit so I can, because the camera's right in front of the painting. So it's a little hard to see. But anyway, you get the idea. All right, so there are my little streaks. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is add my second layer of paint to Petunia's body. So I'm going to mix a little bit of my pink again, one more time. Okay, so I grab pink from my main plate. If I need to grab some more paint, I'll grab some more. Grab a little purple. In this case, I'm gonna make the shade a little bit darker, just a touch darker. So I take some purple, some pink, some white, mix all those together, and maybe I'll make it a little bit lighter. You can make adjustments as you go. Again, you're making your own painting. Your painting isn't going to look exactly like mine. Mine isn't going to look exactly like somebody who might be doing one next to me, so on and so forth. All right, there we go. Yeah, this time I'm gonna make her a little bit more purple, just a little bit. All right, here I go. Watch this. Oh, I'm liking that. You can keep yours pink. Don't stress about this part of it, okay? Just a change that I decided to make here. Instead of going and getting more pink paint and adding more because I was running low on my plate, I decided to make her purple, and I like this. I like this color. Pretty cool. Okay. Again, I'm using the skinny side of my brush, coming around, going like this, going like that, going like that, avoiding getting any of this paint wherever it doesn't need to go. Like that. Okay, come around like that. Like that. Okay, switching brushes to the smaller brush like this. My little 1/4" brush, so I can come in and do this on the hard to reach areas. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Cool. And what did I say I was going to do? I was going to come in here and add some purple there. Or pink. I said pink, but now that I'm working with purple, purple it is. Purple it is. And we are getting close to done, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting close to done on this. There we go. There we go. Just like that. Okay, I am liking this quite a bit. Looking fantastic. Okay, last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of, I'm going to do my outlines for my eyelashes. So what I do here is I switch over. Oh, last thing I'm going to do before we talk about glitter, because glitter is very important. Take my liner brush, take some of my black paint. For those of you that want to make your liner brush's point really skinny, when you dip the paint into the brush, spin and pull back and away. Okay, when you do that, the point gets really small and it makes it easier to make thin, skinny lines. So first I'm going to start with the eyeball. I'm going to clean up the eye a little bit. Doing the same to each eye. Okay. So I get a little bit of my black paint into the white part of the eye. No big deal. I'll fix that in a little bit by adding more white. Okay, I'm going to come over here. Remember what I said about stabilizing your hand? Put this hand that you're not painting with onto your easel or the canvas, or the table, sorry. And then you'll come in, put the other hand on top. Now, a lot easier to work with. Let's do those eyelashes. Get over to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Oops. Three eyelashes each side. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to do this top part right here. This coming over. Okay, just like that. See that? Look at that. How happy does Petunia look? I mean, Olivia, there I go with Petunia. Sorry, Olivia, I don't mean to change your name. I like Olivia. I like Olivia. That's a pretty name. Anyhow, look at that. Woo! Okay, so what I say, I need to clean up the white a little bit. So same brush, cleaning it up, swirling in my water cup, bring some white, where I accidentally add some black to it. Just going to touch that up, and then just cleaning up some areas in here where some of that original pink, I can still see it coming through. The original pink in the background. How's that? And let's see. Okay. We got her nose. I'm doing that in purple. Okay, and then we've got these little suction cup thingies on her tentacles, which I'm going to do in pink. Give me 1 sec. I need to grab me some pink. So hold your horses, whatever it is you're doing, keep doing it. Gotta reach over and grab my pink paint. So keep working, keep working. Take a look at your painting, look at it from a little bit of a distance, see if you need to make any corrections on anything. So watch, I'm about to pour out some of my pink paint. I was trying to avoid it, but there it is. Okay. What did I say I'm going to do with that pink paint? Well, make some suction cups. I think those are what they're called. I'm sure that's not the technical term for these little sections on an octopus's body, but I think it's a little dark. So let's see if we can lighten it up a bit. Yeah. Sorry about that, folks. Looks like I had a little bit of a dark one. I'm sure it's fine. So here I go. All I'm doing is making these little, they're almost like little curved, slightly curved, long oval-ish. They're not quite circles. They're not circles. They're little ovals. I'm going to make about maybe 5 or 6 on each one. Take my little liner brush. Just like that. Here we go. Depending on how long your tentacles are, each one's going to be a little different. Some are going to have more than others. Like this one that's in the back, you can only see a part of it, so it has less. This one in the front. There we go. And then lastly, I am going to add a little more paint to the cheekbones, make those stand out a little bit more. Just like that. I will add a little bit more to her lips. Olivia likes to have really bright pink lips. Okay. And I'm going to pause, and I'm going to come back with some glitter paints. So I'll give it a minute or two to dry a little bit, and I'll come back in just a minute. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and I've got a plate of glitter that I put together here. This is glitter paint. Okay, got a few different types of glitter. I've got all kinds of different colors. You can get these at your local arts and craft stores. Okay, what the trick with these guys though is that you want to make sure that your brushes are relatively clean of any wet paint, because they'll mix. Any wet paint on these brushes will mix with the glitter, and it'll make the glitter really cloudy. The other thing is you want to make sure that the background, the paint on the canvas itself, is also dry. Okay, I'm going to start with this pearl color paint, which I didn't add any of this on the original, but this is a really cool color. I'm going to use this to add to the bubbles, and I don't know that you'll be able to see it at home, but this makes a really big difference. Anytime you want to add some glitter to your pieces, it really does make a cool difference. It makes the areas really stand out. So this is one way to enhance your paintings, okay, your stuff at home. So there's that. I'm going to use the same brush for the starfish, which I'm using the blue glitter. Okay, I'll come in and I'll do this. You can also do layers of this glitter. If it's not sparkly enough for you on this first try, right, or the first time you add some glitter, you can always move on to other areas, and as you're working on the other areas, these will dry, and you can come back and add some glitter there too. Look at that. Not sure if you can see it. I'm trying to see if you can. There we go. There we go. I think there you can see little sparklies now coming in. So there's that. I've got some red glitter on here that I'm going to use for the lips. Look right in here. Petunia likes to have really nice shiny. Petunia, geez. Olivia. Sorry, Olivia. Again, she forgives me though. She forgives me. She understands. So there we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, just like that. Just like that. And I think we are done. Whoops, knocking the camera. I think we're done, folks. I think we're good with Olivia the way she is. She looks spectacular. One last thing I always tell everyone is to sign your painting when you're all done. You want people to know that you're the one that did it. Oh, one thing that we have left is to do this bottom part, which I'll do in just a second. So I'm going to sign it first. I come in. I'm going to use some blue in this case. Grab a little bit of water to make it a little easier to flow onto the plate. I'll come in and I'm going to sign this Jessie. Let's go right here. Bam, there's that. And then, what did I say? We're going to do the bottom part. I flipped it over. I need some of my original light green paint. I'm going to grab some of that. I got some over on this other plate over here. So I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do this. I'm just coloring this in. Just like that. And I'll leave it like this, flipped over on its head, so that it can dry. All right, everyone, give me a moment and we will say goodbye, our goodbyes. Okay, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our video session for today. I hope you all enjoyed painting with me, drawing and painting with me as we did the lovely Olivia. I would love to see some of you guys' work, so if you guys could take pictures of your stuff and email it to me. I'll have my email down in the link or the details of the video below. Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and also hit the little alert icon below. Anytime I upload a new video, you guys will be notified and you can come over and join me for the fun. Also, share my video with your friends, share my channel with your friends, and let them know that we're here. Don't forget that I take requests. So there's a particular art video tutorial you would like to see, like maybe on your favorite cartoon character or your animal, maybe you're into dinosaurs, etc. Teachers, again, for those of you that would like to see me do something for your class, something that perhaps you're learning about, let me know, and maybe in the near future you'll see an art video tutorial on that. Once again, everybody, thank you guys so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys here very soon. Be on the lookout for the next video coming out within the next few days. All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye.